Morning, guys. Anybody hear me out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Hear you fine.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm not hearing anything from the meeting, but maybe they don't have it turned on.
Yeah, he's got it on mute right now, as far as I know.
Cool, thanks.
All right. Looks like we got Mr. Engdahl coming in here too.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, good morning. How you doing, Mike?
Pretty good.
Oh, hello, there's somebody going on. Jeff, are you there with us? We had a great introduction and you missed it because I had the mic on.
Yeah, you had it on mute right there, but yeah, I'm with you guys.
There you go. You are ready to go, sir. I appreciate your help on APRS over Vera HF. Take off and roll, sir.
Okay, will do right there. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for attending today. And certainly as I come along in this presentation, because I'm not there in person, I normally encourage people in the middle of the questions. That's not as convenient to do today, but at the end of the presentation, I'll leave plenty of time. So write down your questions and we'll go back and forth and answer anything that you may wonder on this particular topic. This is actually one I've presented before at a few other places. And the first and foremost issue with HF APRS is it's nothing really new. HF APRS has been around since the 1990s. It was done very soon after VHF and UHF APRS became a thing with Bob Breniga and many other people. And I've got 6 points here that pretty much sum up the first generation HF APRS. First of all, it works some of the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. More often than not, the conventional AX25 over 300 baud packet modems just don't make the connection, and I'll explain that in a second. The conventional HF APRS requires a high signal to noise ratio, sometimes comparable to HF voice, which when we're starting to talk doing digital, because digital has better characteristics to be able to operate at lower signal to noise ratios, that kind of runs counter to that. The technology is also very old. The Bell Bell modem standard that was established for 300 baud packet, which is the same one for 300 baud modems, was delivered in the 1960s, 1970s. And that modem technology was designed for high reliability and low noise telephone circuits. It was not designed for going over HF, where you have fading and signal shifts and all those other things that happen that we're familiar with. And the real nail in the coffin for 300 baud packet modems is there's no forward error correction. Even a small disruption destroys the integrity of the data packet, and you just get nothing. You just get no information that's usable, and you're stuck. So first generation HF APRS that started in the 1990s, the analogy I use is it was like watching paint dry to ever be able to see people pop up. Since then, there have been some improvements in radios. There have been some improvements. The modems today are no longer hardware modems. They're software modems. So there's some things we've done to improve HF APRS on 300 baud packet. It still goes on quite a bit in the 30 meter band, but it's real difficult to get good connections with it, and it's difficult to see other stations. In contrast, there is an item that many of you are familiar with. It comes from the WinLink side of the business, and it's called VARA HF, or VARA was what it was called when it first started out. And it was originally developed for use in WinLink. It was not developed for anything else. It was developed to be a modem for WinLink. And it has a variable speed depending upon signal and noise ratios. And the lowest speeds that it operates at give us a full 15 dB lower the voice signal and noise ratio. So the reality is it's a superior modem. It has a lot more features to it. It was designed in the 20 teens, so it's relatively new technology. Has a high amount of forward error correction built into it. So even if a package of data gets interrupted, it has the ability to self-heal and take the packet that's been sent and rebuild the data set so that even if there is an interruption, which we get, static crashes, CMEs, and all those fun things that come along and decide to interrupt our HF bands. And like I said, it's got a long track record with WinLink. It's proven itself time and time again as a very, very, very reliable modem. So, starting just a few years ago, the author of VARA HF added a KISS port to the software. Reason this is important is the traditional VARA used WinLink protocols for its connection. So it worked really good with the WinLink software. It handshaked and talked to WinLink very well, but anything outside of WinLink, it was not compatible with. So starting, like I said, just a few years ago, the author added a KISS port, and KISS, if you guys are familiar with packet radio, is the Keep It Simple Stupid protocol. And essentially, KISS is a standard that allows APRS software, packet software, any of the traditional things that we're familiar with. It allows it to talk directly to the modem at a very low level. And so that's important because conventional packet radio had the TNC, terminal node controller, had a bunch of hardware built into it, a bunch of software built into it, had a whole overhead of a system. And that's great if you are living within the 1970s technology that's there. But if you want to do new and different things, KISS is really the way to go, where it allows you to talk at a very basic level to an external modem. All the existing APRS packages have support for KISS over IP. And that's important because what we'll be doing is we're going to be using this KISS protocol, but we're going to be doing it over an IP connection as opposed to a COM port connection. We're not connecting to an old packet modem or doing anything of that sort. We are going to do KISS over a network address. And so with this new KISS port that was added to VARA, that new KISS port suddenly opened it up that allowed it to do a lot of other things that it wasn't capable of doing before, with a lot of other software packages that it couldn't talk to before. And one of those packages that became very, very attractive for it was any of the APRS packages. So you marry it together with an APRS package, and now you have HF APRS on steroids. You have a very robust modem that really, really, really just does amazing things compared to the conventional HF APRS that we were used to dealing with back in the 80s and 90s. So that being said, a lot of people are going to ask the question, you talk about the theory of this, but how do I get started? And by the way, this presentation, I will be sending a copy to your fearless leader, who will then in turn be able to make it available on your website. So you don't need to write down all this information. But the first thing that you're going to do, and especially if you have never been involved with WinLink, chances are you don't have the VARA HF modem. So the first thing you're going to do is download VARA HF at the link I've shown here. And with that, you have the ability now to download the software and get it on your computer. So that's the first step that you're going to do. I also highly recommend Pinpoint APRS for beginners. If you've never done APRS before, Pinpoint is a really good package that is very user-friendly. It doesn't have some of the other features that other packages do. So if you're an expert user, you may have your own version of APRS that you prefer. That's fine. But if you're somebody who's never done APRS before, Pinpoint's a really good package to get started and do what you need to do in. So that being said, when you load up Pinpoint APRS for the first time, and I'm going to do a demonstration in just a few minutes to show how to do this. When you set it up for the first time, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to set up the TNC options to have a network KISS mode TNC, which means that your TNC is not a hardware TNC. It's not a COM-port TNC. It's not Cantronics or other brand TNC. It is a network in KISS mode, which is the simple way to operate. And then you're going to tell it at the bottom of the screen that the TCP IP address is 127.0.0.1, which is your personal computer. And then you're going to tell it to connect on port 8100, which is the default KISS port for VARA HF. So essentially, if you are doing APRS and you are familiar with connecting to TNCs, connecting to sound card modems, things of that sort, it's very much the same things that you do to connect to sound modem, all the other packages, except now you're going to point it towards port 8100 on VARA, as opposed to pointing it to sound modem or pointing it to your Cantronics TNC. So it's fairly straightforward. You tell it at this point, go to network KISS mode, connect to VARA. And then on the VARA HF setup, it's really simple. You go in, and the first time you ever set up VARA, you put in your call sign and very default information for the first time run. And then it has default settings that it just carries all the way through. The first thing you're going to do in VARA is you're going to hit VARA settings, and under VARA setup, if you look on the screen here, the fourth box down says KISS interface. And what you're going to do is check that box and say KISS interface. Now at that point, your VARA HF becomes a KISS modem, so it will not interface at that point with WinLink correctly. So when you check this box, make sure to uncheck it when you go back to using WinLink later. It's kind of a toggle on and off to how you want to use VARA. So you'll basically go into the setup screen, do this. You'll go to the other setup screen that's in Pinpoint, as I showed earlier. And now these two packages are married to each other. They are now communicating between the two. Once you get all that done, then you're going to hang out on a frequency. And the real popular hangouts today on 20 meter are 14083.5, on 40 meter 7083.5, and that's all upper sideband. So you're either going to manually set your radio, or if you have a remote software, you'll go in and punch these frequencies into your remote software. Bottom line is your radio has to be on 14083.5 or 7083.5 upper sideband. So that gets you to a point where this is real, where now you're able to actually operate. And what I actually have operating in the background here, if you take a look, is I actually have the HF APRS software operating at this very moment on another computer. You'll see my little station out in the middle here. A few minutes ago, I had a station out in California, had another station in Arkansas, had another station up in Idaho, and we were chatting back and forth quite a bit. So when you actually start this software, there's an item called options, says you can't do that. So there we go. But if you look over at the TNC settings, network KISS mode, which if I hit the drop down, you'll see it has everything for Kenwood radios with the TNC built into it, has the serial KISS mode and everything else. It even has the ability to connect to a Yaesu FTM 400, but we want network KISS mode is what we want. And that immediately then makes the network KISS TNC settings important. So you go down here, you punch in the address, you punch in the port, and you're good. Once you get the software running, what you're going to do is you're going to connect to the TNC, quote unquote. So we're going to disconnect it because we were running earlier. You're going to say connect TNC. And when you do that, you are now connected to your VAR HF application. Now, every time you beacon, that application is going to transmit over your HF radio. So in this case, we're going to create a situation for it to talk to somebody, and we're going to send a message. So I've got a message I just typed up. And at this point, I'm going to hit the send button, and you're going to see the VARA TNC over here is now transmitting that message. If I look at the communication monitor for this software, it actually says hello again from Oklahoma for test. So I just sent out a message over 40 meter VAR HF to the station in California. And just for everybody's information, prior to the presentation today, I actually wrote many messages over to various people, like, for example, KI5FA over in Arkansas. He says, hear you in Central Arkansas. This was about 8:30 this morning. I had a message acknowledged out of the Idaho station. I had multiple messages acknowledged from a station that was in the Los Angeles area. And then I can even look at the messages I sent to people. And hello again from Oklahoma for test. There was a ping that I sent to somebody, another ping to somebody else. And then perfect, send you some messages around 9:30 as part of a presentation. So I've got all of this information for my messages in a nice little log here. But anytime I do something to send my beacon my position or anything else, that modem will kick into gear. So if I say send position beacon, that's something we do on a normal basis. I'll say send position. If I look at the modem, you'll see at this point, it's actually sending my position out on APRS. But it's sending it on VARA as opposed to conventional 300 baud packet. And while all that was going on, I went up to the site that is for APRS that collects all the data for APRS. And there's somebody, okay, that echo went away, good, all right. But if you look at the APRS FI site, and I'm actually going to refresh this, you'll see all those messages that I've sent have been picked up by an iGate somewhere on 40 meters. So I'm getting out. People are hearing me. You can actually see some of the responses back from the other station. And I can go back and look at my status here. Look at my map view. There I am right here on my computer. Go back to information. It says I'm running pinpoint version 2. And it says 48 seconds ago, I sent my position report. And then I actually have stations that I've heard directly, And there's even apparently a KK6 SVV-10 that picked me up around 9:48. So you know, there's plenty of people out here operating on 40 meters and picking up the various items that I've got. Looks like the last path it went to was this guy, so I'm going to see if I can send this person a message. So we'll go over here and we'll say, send a message. I'm going to hit send. You'll see that it's actually sending that message. And I haven't got any acknowledgement back from them yet. So AJ5FA, message to him. Just literally in the last, I'd say 15, 20 minutes, we did see the 40 meter band drop quite a bit. As you guys know, we still have the after effects of the CME that happened the other day. So that band has been kind of up and down. But like I said earlier this morning, I was making contacts out to Idaho, contacts out to California. In normal band conditions where we don't have a disruption, you're going to get very, very good NVIS capabilities with 40 meter band in particular during the day. And during that time, I typically see stations up in Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas pop up on my map. So the neat thing about this, if you actually look at the position reports that it received, let's see here if I can get those to show. Oops. The station that I made contact with, I'll actually pull up the internet here. The station that I actually made contact with over in Arkansas, KJ5FA, was 210 miles away. The station out in California, I believe, was right around 1,200 miles. And in fact, this station right here that picked me up, they're actually over in Del City, KK6SVV. And what else do I have here? Let me find my California station that I was talking to earlier. KF6NYM. There he is. He is, according to this, 38 miles northwest bearing from Oxnard, California. So if you guys know that area out there, he's not too far from Bakersfield, about 80 miles from there. And these are the various stations that he's heard directly on the radio at his location. I believe he's dash 10. So let me go back here to, actually he's dash 15 on that one. So let me look at dash 15 real quick. There he is, dash 15. And he's actually in this WinLink report that's up here. Interesting. So his WinLink station actually distributed through his regular gateway out in California, through his dash 10 gateway, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to try to send him another message, see if there's any chance that he still can pick me up. And he was, make sure I get the right call sign on this. I'll cut and paste it from there. Got a dash 10. There we go. We hit send. You'll see the modem is now transmitting again.
Any hot water? Yeah, any hot water?
They had one of the sports personnel for people that it's not on Channel 9 News. And he brought his mom on.
So I haven't seen him come back to me yet, but we'll monitor for a little while. It sometimes takes a little while for him to come back. But while we're talking here, I'm going to share some of the examples that have been done by a station up in Michigan. This is actually WA8LMF's homepage, and he gives a pretty good rundown of how does APRS work over the VARA modem. And he talks a lot about the technical part of it, of all the different symbol rates and how they operate. But basically, he tested VARA as a replacement for the conventional AX25 packet on 60 meters HF. He had two Yaesu FT891 transceivers, one at home, one in the car, and he basically went driving. So this is him driving from East Lansing to Kalamazoo, Michigan. And the one thing you'll notice is his path is very line driven, meaning it doesn't even sometimes follow the road, because he gets one beacon here, then he doesn't get another beacon until he's almost 2/3 of the way there. And he doesn't get another beacon until he gets into Kalamazoo. So the reality is, for basically a 2-hour trip, he got 3 or 4 packets probably out of literally dozens. On the other hand, running right in parallel with it was the VARA modem, and you see these little red dots all along the way. This is all the places that it beaconed at, and he was able to pick it up very well through the entire trip. Followed the actual road, didn't make lines on all he was doing. As you notice, you compare this map on the top, this actually caught him driving around Lansing, whereas this one did not. It didn't pick up till he went down here. So clearly VARA does a lot better job than the 300 baud conventional packet does. He also did some further testing, going to Chicago. Once again, the regular conventional packet modem. On the other hand, now you're running with VARA HF. There was a little break between Charlotte and Battle Creek, but then he was solid all the way into Chicago, into the metro area. And VARA continued to receive reliably long after the AX25 started failing. So Steve Smith had some really good experience with this. He uses, for his tests, he uses 60 meter, but many of these same things are true on 40 meters. The two bands have very similar propagations. And it, like I said, it just works. It does a really good job of covering you as you're going over a particular distance. And I haven't seen anybody ping back to me yet. It's always good to have somebody that pings back for the demo, but I don't think we're going to be that lucky today. But like I said, the setup, the software is very straightforward. I've got VARA HF running in the background here. And as you can see, it's set up to, if I go to the VARA setup, it is set up to be a KISS interface, and it is set on KISS port 8100. You'll notice the conventional ports are also set up for WinLink. But as soon as I hit KISS, basically WinLink doesn't get access to this. As soon as I turn KISS interface off, my VARA HF modem will go back to being a WinLink modem, and it won't do APRS anymore. So it's pretty straightforward to set up. It's fun to experiment with. Today being kind of a bad band condition day, I don't have as much opportunity to ping other stations out there. But normally I would have stations up in Kansas. Even the station in Arkansas would be a pretty easy hit. But for whatever reason, 40 meters has changed drastically in the last few minutes here. So I'll go back to the presentation itself. And if you're looking for additional information regarding HF, APRS, and VARA, first place I would go is the Facebook group, and it's called VARA APRS. So if you go to Facebook and say, show me the VARA APRS group, you will see a group pop up on your screen that looks vaguely like this. It's got the VARA modem waterfall, VARA software with a VARA APRS listed. Currently, there's about 1,500 members worldwide, so it's a pretty active group, and they post about a lot of things. And one of the most popular things to do is post, when you took this thing portable or mobile, how did it track? This was a gentleman that did Van Island up by Seattle, drove mobile, looked at his trackings. There's just people all over the place that are doing various things with the software. See, here are some of the tracks that we saw. This was the gentleman that did it over in Japan, and he operated on 20 meters. And then this was the one that was done up by Vancouver, near Seattle area. You see, you're getting lots of granularity in your track points. I never get that type of granularity when I run 300 baud APRS. Generally, it's anywhere from 40 to 50 miles between each ping because it's lucky whether or not you make it out or not. It's very, very hard and difficult to do this. And mind you, this is with a mobile antenna that he's getting this type of experience with. If you start talking base operations, longer dipoles, things of that sort, things get a lot easier really quickly. And so point being is that this is something you can use as a tracker and a mobile operation, but you can also use it as a base station to communicate with others with messaging. And bottom line is all of your items that you're used to doing on APRS are available to you on this. Messaging, telemetry, all that good stuff. But go out to that Facebook group if you want to learn more about what is VARA HF all about. There's another great site. That was the one I just showed you, the WLMF.net site. And that gives the examples of real life operation, gives you lots of ideas of what to play around with this mode. Like I said, it does a really, really good job getting out. Some other things I'm going to add in here just to the presentation. For those of you that have never done sound card modes, going to talk a little bit about what you need to get started. So if you've never done this before with your HF radio, you need a signal link, rig blaster, MFJ. Repeater Builders makes the DRA interfaces. DigiRig makes a really great interface. Or you need to buy a radio with a built-in interface like the FT991 or the ICOM 7300. Those type of radios all have built-in interfaces to them. But the bottom line is you need to get a keying circuit. You need to get something that allows you to interface your computer to the radio and get started. As the newer radios are having this as a standard feature, not so much of a need to go back and buy the signal links and other interfaces. But if you have an older radio, this is your gateway to getting on the air with digital. Something I always talk to people about is audio setup is king. If you're going to do work on HF in particular, the biggest issue people have is overdriving. And it's not just the fact that you're not going to be heard, but you can actually cause harmful interference to other people on the band. So set your radio to full power, set the volume controls to minimum on your sound card, and then turn the LC meter up on the radio. And then you adjust your drive on the sound card so that the ALC is just barely showing. If you don't do that and you overdrive and have your ALC kicking in excessively, you'll actually end up creating sidebands and other items that are artifacts that go well beyond where you're operating on the frequency, and you can interfere with voice communications. You can interfere with other digital stations. You're going to make life miserable for anybody else that's trying to coexist with you. The audio setup is very important. After I covered all these things, and there will be question and answer time, I've left plenty of time for that. But after this, if you still have questions or you don't think about something until much later, there's a plethora of places to go. First of all, you can send an email directly to me with questions, and I'll address those questions with a return email. There is the Rogers County Wireless Association Facebook page. We talk a lot about these technologies. It's another good place if you just want to throw up a post and say, hey, I'm trying to do something here. Is this possible? Or I'm trying to troubleshoot something. Can somebody help me? Tulsa Digital Radio Club Blogspot is also a good place to hang out at. It's an older site that's not currently updated, but it's got a lot of good information about getting started on digital. The Oklahoma ARL for NTSOK gives you a lot of good pointers on how to make sure that VARA is set up correctly. There's a lot of online discussion groups on io.net. There's a lot of other Facebook discussion groups, and as you saw, I shared with you the VARA APRS group. And I'll throw it out there for anybody here. If there's enough interest, we can start a Tulsa or Oklahoma HF APRS net. So if there's enough of you that want to get on the air and we want to on a regular basis get together, I'm all for that. In addition to all this, all that's kind of behind the keyboard. Some people work better via voice. The Oklahoma link is available for your guys' use. We have a Sunday evening net at 8 p.m. And then Mondays at 7:15 p.m. we have the Oklahoma Voice over IP net, and all of these items shown on the screen are ways to get here. So if you have a hotspot or a Wires X box, you can get to us. You can get to us in Wires X room 28292. If you have a hotspot, you can go to 19053 for the YSF reflector. DMR TGIF has us on 31403. Our P25 reflector is 31403. Our NXDN is 31403. So if you have any types of radios that are going through your hotspot, you have a whole bunch of ways to get to us. If you have a D-Star radio, you can go to XLX OKLB. And we also have the newest digital voice mode M17 on M17 OKL Module A. So be sure to check that out as well. Bottom line is you can get a hold of us there. And then, of course, all of you guys that are analog-only guys say, well, that was nice. How can I get you on analog? Well, we have the 147090 repeater in Claremore, which is probably a little bit far for you guys to hit. But we also have All-Star 49562. And that Echolink link is wrong. It's not WX5RC anymore. It's N5XQK-R, and I'll correct that in the presentation. But you can connect via Echolink, or you can connect via All-Star, get into our nets, ask questions, what have you. In fact, we just had the Maury TechNet on Thursday night. We connected in via Echolink and that's going to be an ongoing connection between us. So if you participate in the Maury TechNet, feel free to connect in, and you'll get a hold of the same people in this area of the world as you do in that area of the world. So that is the end of my formal presentation. So I've left plenty of time here for questions. I know this is a lot of information if you haven't done it before, but at the same time, that's the reason I leave time up here for everybody. And so I saw some of the questions that did pop up in the chat, so I'll answer those first. Are these available in Windows and Mac or Linux? Okay, to answer, the APRS softwares are available in Windows, Mac, or Linux. However, VARA is a Windows-only software. There are some people that are running it under Wine in Linux. However, I'll tell you up front, I've done that. It's fairly unstable, meaning that if you leave it totally, if you don't babysit it, it will occasionally give you a weird error and crash and do some weird things. So it's not really stable to do for like 12, 18 hours at a time. If you just want to do it for fun and you're really watching it and you want to reset it every time that it crashes, you probably can run it on Wine, but it's definitely not it's not for prime time on Mac or Linux. There was another question that was asked: when you ping another station, does that show up on their software? Yes. And can you send a message and will it be held until they activate their software? No. The message will go in to the APRS FI servers. It will go into the central servers that serve APRS. But if they are off the air, they will not get your message. And if they're not on the air, they just won't get the message. So it's important to ping somebody that is on the air and reachable. There's not really a store and forward in APRS, so to speak. It is very, very, very live. And to that end, what I recommend to people who are using this in communications is if you're sending a message that is intended to go to somebody that may or may not be on the air, send it over WinLink. WinLink is intended for that. WinLink is send a message to somebody that may or may not be on the air. If you are in a real-time situation where it's more what I call push-to-talk real-time, that's where you're going to end up using the messaging in the APRS software to message somebody else. So this is really intended for practical communications, immediate stuff, whereas WinLink is intended more for store and forward, send it to a server in their convenience, they can pull it up. And it also would mean something that's not super critical as far as time is concerned. Other questions that the group may have, I'll open up to everybody right now, people in the meeting room or any place else that have questions. Feel free to come forward with your questions at this time. Not hearing any questions at this time, but I also believe the meeting room is muted. So I don't know if anybody in the meeting room has questions. I'll defer to Mark. Has anybody there raised their hand, or is anybody wanting to ask questions? And even if there are no questions, Mark, go ahead and confirm that there's no questions in the meeting room. Either type something in the chat or come on here real quick.
Hello. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Too much analog mess up. It's, if this was digital, it all went great.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, Zoom is digital.
Yeah.
I want to expand on that last question. During the presentation, I sent you an APS Droid message to AE5ME-10, and I'm trying to figure out how that would get to you with it, since you're real time. Is there a way you can pull those, or it'd be in a mode to pull messages? How does that work, or doesn't it?
Okay, well, I'll explain is what it would require is a two-way gateway running on HF APRS, which there are a few of them that are out there, but it would require a two-way gateway to transmit the message to where I am right now. The other way that I could get your message if you send it on APRS Droid, and let me go over and take a look on APRS FI. Let's see here. We'll put you in AE5ME-10. Whoops. AE5ME-10. Search. Messages. Yeah, it actually came across on the APRS FI servers. If I connected my station to the central servers on the internet, I would get it come directly across my station. It would not go over the air. It would go over the APRS internet servers. So I'm purposely not connected to the internet right now because I'm strictly doing HF. But if I turned around on the software, which let me minimize this.
That's cheating.
That's cheating. Exactly. That's
Okay,
exactly.
So there is no way, like you said, the store and forward is not there, but.
Store and forward is not there. It either goes or it doesn't on the whole thing.
But unless you're connected to that two-way gateway, there's no way to get in and off the APS droid to your system unless you're connected to it.
Well, if there is another gateway in my area on HF that is doing two-way APRS traffic, then I would get it. But I'll tell you honestly, most people don't run two-way on HF. They run one way, which means what I send out goes into the system. But very rarely do we pull the stuff out of the entire system because you and 20,000 other people will send information into there. And if we're not careful, it's the same reason you don't run two-way gateways on VHF, because if you got the entire world coming across your gateway, it's very hard to operate that. There are some people that do filtered gateways where they only pass the stuff through that's local to the area. And that would be another way to approach it. But generally speaking, not a lot of people run the two-way gateway. So to answer your question, no, in most cases, it wouldn't come across.
But I couldn't figure out a way that would work, but that's a good deal. Anybody else have a question here in the room? They all are setting up there. I can see they're all going to Vera HF and downloading the software on their phones, right? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've all brought their HF ready. Anybody have any questions locally? Anybody? Mark, oh, Clayton does. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, this is Mark Clayton, N5AZQ.
Yeah.
I do a lot of FT8, so I've done the Vera HF. I've just never done it with the APRS turned on.
Yeah.
But it should be fairly easy to do since I'm already doing FT8 anyway through, and I use a Yaesu 991A anyway.
Yep.
So
It'll be
all the
very
time-
easy. Yeah, very easy for you to get set up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all the time encouraging more here in our club to do FT8, so they'd be easy, once they set up for that and it's working, they should be easy to set up for the APRS, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and the big advantage I'll say that this gives to you is if you have a portable laptop, or even as you know, you on the VAR FM side have used the little cube PCs, or even the compute sticks, it looks like a USB stick, but it's really a PC. If you put those in a mobile operation, you can run these things as a tracker. And one of the things that we talk about locally in the Tulsa area that is always a concern when you're covering a large area with APRS is you have to be within range of a digipeater. And as we do, like the bike event that's over the Dam Jam bike event, that covers such a large area that there are areas that they do not get to an APRS digipeater on. Well, with this, because you can use NVIS with it, you basically use your antenna on your vehicle. When you start now going to NVIS, you could now get out 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles, and be able to still see your trackers out there. So the advantage that it gives you in an NVIS application is you don't have to have a whole digipeater network in order to get out to the mobile and portable stations. And by the way, it can be done portably. I actually took one of the handheld HF Moxon, I think believe made them in Japan. I actually took one of those and actually transmitted through it using a very small compromised antenna, and still was able to, 75 miles out, had no problem on NVIS making it back to my base station. So It's definitely something can be done portable as well as mobile. And certainly if you're set up at a base camp, so to speak, where you've got a loop antenna or even a dipole setup, you're going to have good success with it. That's a given, but it's something to consider to increase your footprint from what you can do on conventional VHF, UHF, APRS. And if you're doing an event that's, let's say, would expand out 100, 200 miles, it may be the only way that you can pull in APRS data effectively. Because I know, for example, when I drive to Joplin, Missouri from Tulsa, once I get past the Keatonville APRS digipeater and start getting more towards Pryor and Veneta area, as I start getting in that region, all of a sudden I disappear off of all the APRS servers. They don't see me anymore because I'm in a RF hole over there that doesn't have any eye gates or anything going on. Can I answer your question, Mark? And you're still muted. You're still muted, Mark. I'm not hearing you come back here.
Hello, hello, hello. Well, we'll try.
There you are. You're back now. I can hear you. I can hear you now.
No, yes, I got Mark's question, and everybody here has gotten what they need, which is scary. They actually learned something from a presenter. I'm pretty happy. Good job. I know I'll set up what they set up for Vera FM on a mobile system. The difference is on, just to be clear, that guy, the 8 call.
And you just dropped off again. I'm seeing other people moving in the background, so I think it's we lost Mark there for a second, but I heard the 8 call, and then you dropped on audio.
Is it there? There it is.
There you are. You're back again. You're back.
The 8 call guy, he was doing Vera versus 300 baud fixed packet. Is that the difference?
That's correct. That's right.
They're both HF. Okay.
Yeah, both HF on 60 meters.
Charlie, hang tight. Alpha Delta Zero Whiskey Whiskey. Good morning, Frank.
Oh.
North Dakota. Nice day here. Got 50
Remember.
The singular. Yeah, but high today. 10-mile-an-hour wind.
So, Mark, any further questions?
I got none. Yeah, I got audio. Look at that. I've got none. Anybody else in the room got something besides Gillespie? I'm gonna say thank you very much. No questions. We really appreciate it.
Okay. I am going to leave you guys with some bonus material. I'm not going to go into depth with it, but it was something Mark had asked about. And I'm just going to give you a link of where to go. And it's called APRS link. Those of you that are on WinLink and want to find another way to get into WinLink besides the conventional methods, you can get in there with APRS link. All you need to do is go to winlink.org/APRS link, just like I've got shown on the screen. And if you punch that in, it will give you all the instructions of all the commands you send via APRS. I certainly would not try to read a long message with this. It's really intended for short stuff. But if you need to send a real quick message, you can actually use your handy talkie, mobile rig, etc., and punch in a short message and actually send it via WinLink. And it will go through your WinLink account. You have to log on, do some stuff like that. But the bottom line is, yes, there is a way to do WinLink via APRS, and that is where the instructions are on the internet. So a little bit of bonus material today. Otherwise, thank you very much. Appreciate everybody's time. And I'll hang around for the rest of the meeting right here because I'm always interested in how other clubs run meetings and stuff. So if a question comes up later, feel free to contact me. Otherwise, you've got my email address, AE5ME@yahoo.com, and I'll feel free to contact me anytime. And with that, I'll stop sharing the screen. Over to you, Mark, from here.
Oh, there we go. Kind of this audio is bouncing around for some reason. Must be a thing in the computer. I will post and share what you sent me, the presentation. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
All right.
Break.
Take 5 minutes.
Well, were they having the rest of the meeting without us?
They were having a break there from what I could see when he had the video up, but then I don't know what else he's doing. So
Okay, well, I'm working N5F, as N5F today for the National Fire Protection Week event. And I just worked 5 Whiskey 1 Sierra Alpha in Samoa. I wished I'd had the wherewithal to change my call sign back to my call sign and work him again.
James, KJ5, APRS. 5J5ME.
David, K0
Mike, KJ5CHD. Jeremy, N5TDA.
KI5 DPAC.
James, KG5LXV. Ken, KWTE.
Rob, KZ3 VCU.
Lance, K9LES. Jerry, KJ5FQP.
Bill, AE5F. Galen, WX5MOR.
Dwayne, AF5KD, my wife Amy.
Bing, November India 5 Golf. Jeff, M7AVG.
Peter, KA5COI.
David, KI5QMF.
Mike, KE5ASN.
Margaret,
Randy, A5 deficit. Julie, KJ5 DWA.
Cheryl, KJ5HFB.
Bob, KJ5 HFN.
Gail, AI5 Auto.
Chris, K5 Vivian.
Mark, N5ACQ.
Mark, N5HCR.
And I'm Rodney, KF5UZA, and at this moment, we're gonna have a moment of silence. And we're gonna let Mark play Last Call for Phil. And then we'll have our moment of silence.
Kilo Delta 5 Uniform Golf Oscar. This is W5NOR, net control. KD5 UGO. This is W5NOR. for your years of service to the radio community, for your leadership to the energy and traveling community, for your unending efforts to assist incoming amateur radio operators, and for all the people that call you friend. Kilo Delta 5, Uniform Golf Oscar, Phil Sennett. You may be gone, but you will not be forgotten.
Thank you. And thank you, Mark, for doing that. He just types in the computer and the computer does that, but coming up with what he said, it's hard. All right, secretary's minutes.
Last month, we had 39 members present in person and 5 via Zoom. We observed a moment of silence for all the silent keys. Minutes were read and treasurer's report was read. It was noted that credit card payments will cost us 66 cents per transaction to be done here with our credit card reader, as opposed to 99 cents if it's processed online. We had a presentation by Mark Clayton over making amateur radio contacts to the International Space Station. VE report, we had 2 new technicians, 1 new general and 1 upgrade to general. Cora and ARRL, panoramas October 26th in Ardmore. Mark Clayton gave an update on the ARRL's effort for sponsoring House Resolution 4006 and Senate Bill 3690 to allow amateur radio antennas and HOAs. More information can be found at ok.arrl.org/HOA. Core had 72 people show up for the all-hand dinner. Core is also going to be looking at the military center in Oklahoma City for Winterfield Day. NOAA cities needing volunteers to assist with our Veterans Day parade. See Mark Klein if you're interested with that. Tech committee, everything's working fine, but the cold front coming through in polar weather will put the temperature inversion in place, so there may be some interference on the repeater. Announcements wise, every night, every Tuesday, 6:30 to 9 here at Fire Station 7. Boy Scout Jamboree in the Air is October 19th. National Weather Festival is October 26th. And we're here at the next club meeting. So after that, the meeting ended at 10:52.
All right. Treasurer's report.
Okay, things are going good. We spent out $24. We did not recover last month, which is normal for this time of year. Bottom line, we have 24,109 in savings, $2,003 in the checking account, and $224 in the checking account. Anyone have any questions? Okay.
Also, we need to, if you are an ARRL member, make sure Larry knows part of, I was gonna have Mark talk about that. Part of our club being an ARRL club is we have to have a certain percentage of members in the club that are signed up for ARRL. All right, now, VE
report, marketing, pull for our page. This last month in September 28th, we had a fairly large testing group up in Guthrie. And as you can tell, we have a herd of new technicians. And on October 3rd session, Justin, who's not here today, so Justin upgraded to general. So our next session will be on Hammerama on October 26th, led by Wayne, and then also on November the 7th, back here at Fire Station. Everything is up and running fine, as you've noticed with the solar weather lately. We have some effects that we'll hear, but if we've looked at the NASA forecast and the solar weather experts over the next several months, we expect to continue to be in a Aurora high season, which means we'll have the potential for more events. Hopefully not as large as this one, but still a maximum. You gotta love it.
And there's a bunch of pictures out there, pretty skies, so. Now. Cora, APRS report.
Good deal, lots covered, most of it's non-detailed, which is good. Hammerama is the Ardmore Hamfest. For those of you who've not been to Hamfest, it's a place to go to buy stuff, sell stuff, and learn stuff. It is hammerama.org. Tickets are available online. Ticket sales are going good. Mark Clayton runs the flea market booth or the table booth. How many you got left?
We have 91 tables sold. We have a total of 127 available, so do your math. They're running out fast. So if you want a table, get with me.
ARRL, or I'm sorry, hammerama.org is that piece, which is good. Is Rob here today? No. His brother Mike is here today. And they're doing a class, just all I gotta do is keep me from lying. They're doing a class over at Newcastle that is held by the library, that will be at the Newcastle Storm Shelter, thank you very much, couldn't remember the word. Storm Shelter, that starts October 28th, is that right? Correct. 28th, and it's gonna be a Tuesday, Thursday thing. It is going to be, it's kind of a hybrid class, which is kind of fun. They're gonna use my book, and the goal is for them to study the questions and answers for the class, and then when you go to the technician class, they will do demonstrations and expansions on the topics for that as it goes through. Testing will be at the end of that piece, provided by our own VE testing gurus. Did they do a cost for that one, Mike?
No.
Just the book, cost of the book, because that's it.
Cost of the book and
$5.
friends of the library might pick up the cost of the books.
Oh, okay.
Because they're only $5.
Yep.
She said, I think I can get those, so.
Oh, okay, we can make them a deal too. So that's gonna be happening over there. We did a successful ham of the day, as Ed said, 23 people showed up, 20 of them passed. At the beginning of the day, none of them said they could pass the test. At the end of the day, 20 out of the 23 passed. The irony is the 3 people that did not pass were the 3 that had technical backgrounds. And I think they thought, oh, I got this, no problem, and didn't spend as much effort as the people that were scared to death that they had their class. So it's kind of fun to watch that geometry work. The good part, it was done by our good friend Alfred Perez out of Wichita Falls. He's moved down there to Wichita Falls now. And I was able to document what he did for the class. So we can do those ham of the day classes frequently here. So if you got a place we can do it or want to do it, let me know. The outline is at w5nor.org/day, DAY, and that outline is there to tell you how it all goes, and you can run your own class if you want to. That kind of deal. What did I else have on my list? ARRL stuff. ARRL is still rolling along, sort of limping with a bad foot on the IT side. We're starting to get those things up and running. The appointments database got running this week, so we should see the appointments that have been made, which is probably a big difference. We have an AUXCOM class, auxiliary community class, that is run by who's doing Sean Douglas, the state SWIC or assistant SWIC is the guy that's running that class. It'll be an instructor out of Oklahoma, and then they're bringing in 2 people from Arkansas to teach this. It will be November 8, 9, and 10. We talked about this last month, had a list of people that were interested, and I got a hold of them as well. It was in the newsletter today, so if you're wanting to sign up for that class, it is another way to expand your education beyond the female 100, 200, 700, and 800 classes. And the idea is it will help you set up and communicate with the kind of liaison person between the public service folks and us teams. So that should be a lot of fun. We should be able to, we're supposed to get a couple of trainers out of this event, so we should be able to do that more often than every 10 years. When was the last one? Bill, when was the last time you went? 1862? Yeah, it's been about 10 years. Hey, you went to that one, didn't you? The good news is it gets more people signed up for the slots that the state has for when we do statewide events. A la the big tragedy southeast. The goal there is do not self-deploy, do not self-deploy, do not self-deploy. So that should be a lot of fun. It is on the next SCARS meeting, which will cause all kinds of grief for the rest of us to move forward. That's enough for now. All ham dinner was great, 72 folks. And it was good to see a big crowd again. If you're interested in doing bigger things, working with more stuff, let me know and we can get you involved either statewide basis or through the Cora folks. We always are looking for volunteers to help down at the big Ham Fest our north. So if you're interested in helping registration or solving problems, let me or Mark know and we'll get you involved. Thank you very much.
If you want to upgrade from technician.
SCARS repeater 14606, 8 o'clock. Gossip net after the Aries net at 8:30 or thereafter. And we've been averaging what, about 20, 25, somewhere in there. A good count. Yeah, 18 and 25. The MACnet, which is Monday through Saturday, with the exception of club meeting day. 9 o'clock on the 14706 repeater in the morning, and there's been probably about 35 or so. And 10 meter net Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, 28.445 upper sideband, and we've been doing pretty good on that one. The KD5 UTO Memorial Net, which is Thursday night, I'm sorry, my brain left. Thursday night, 8 o'clock, we've been averaging anywhere from 12 to 16 on that one. And that is on the UHF repeater for the SCARS, 443.7. Same PL as the VHF. DMR net, Monday night, I believe that is at 8:15 on what pump group?
3140.
3140. And let's see. Sometimes Mark Clayton does it, Mark Klein and Mike Webb. All right, back to you, Rodney. Thank you.
Siren net.
All right,
I don't do
Wayne,
Siren net.
siren.
that's Wayne, the siren net.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Yes, we're doing a siren net today as usual, every Saturday at noon local time on the 440 repeater, 443-700. And
if it's not acting up.
Well, the deal that we had the other night has to do with the solar flares and stuff such as that. Hopefully, we'll be able to pass it on through there. So, anyway, you do not have to be a member of SCARS to participate in this, as long as you are properly licensed to be on the UHF. So, noon local time, I probably already said that. Don't know what else to say. Back to you, Rodney.
Thank you, everyone, especially Davey, for doing all those network work.
I did.
Has the latest. We're gonna get an update on Bill Baker.
I did have one thing happen.
As you notice, Bill Baker hasn't been with us in a while. He's having some medical issues and is in rehab right now. They're gonna keep him for a while. We don't know how long. But if you're out there thinking of all the different nets and stuff, and thinking about the one he did for us, keep him in your thoughts on Bill Baker. Hopefully we'll get him back soon. But just letting you know, he's still here with us. He just won't be with us here at the club meetings and on the air for a while. So. Maybe.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to add on the KD5 UGL Memorial Net is should we have technical issues on the UHF side, we temporarily move it over to the VHF side. Thank you.
All right. One other thing. On Elmer night, we had a massive donation from the Denny family of all kinds of connectors and I don't know what all's in those drawers. We had to clear a whole shelf out in our storage closet and which allows us to do a lot of things at Elmer night. So I wanted to recognize the Denny family for all you do. Thank you. Oh, that's right here. All right, next month is elections. If you would like to run for an office for SCARS, please let Mike Wood or myself know that you're interested in being vice president, which is actually president-elect. And we have a treasurer, a secretary. We also have directors. That's not an elected position, but that's an appointed position. So if you would be interested in serving on the board of directors, we would appreciate that too. Do we have any other announcements? Does anybody have anything they're selling? Anybody wanting to buy something that needs some guidance?
I need a dual band, bass or mobile radio.
Billy needs a dual band mobile radio. UHF, VHF. I could probably look in my closet. I've got more radios and I don't know what to do with.
I think I'll be able to help him out on that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, any other announcement? Oh, there is one announcement.
Take care, Jeff. Take care, Jeff. Hey, nice meeting you. Good luck to you. When you two guys wanna go get some fun, let me know. Yeah, it's near. It's a couple of blocks.
So I'm guessing the meeting is over because I don't hear Rodney anymore.
Yeah, he stopped talking and then everybody else was talking, so I kind of have a feeling the meeting may have ended. We'll look for confirmation if Mark gets a chance to jump back in here and confirm that, but
Looks like it's muted, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna bail out anyway. I gotta get ready for the siren net coming up here in about an hour.
all right. Well, good luck on it.
Well, thanks for the presentation. It was pretty informative. Appreciate
All
it.
right, good deal. Catch you guys later.
You bet.
Jeff, I'm gonna bail out too. I've got some real world stuff to do. I didn't see
Okay.
it all on, I
You didn't see me on
it all.
17 meter? Yeah, I think close in here, it's gonna be hard for you to see me, but I did
Yeah.
hit that 5 station. I think it was the same station you hit right there and was able to connect them, no problem, so.
Well, that's good. 7-3, and we'll catch you Monday night probably.
All right, sounds good. Catch you later. Bye.
Okay. Al, I'm still calling CQ on 17 meters FT8 if you want to give me a holler, but I'm gonna be leaving that in a few minutes. Gotta go cut some grass. You're muted, Al.
I'm not radioactive on HF right now.
Oh, okay. All righty. Well, this event ends at the end of today, so I'll get back at it this afternoon when I get back from mowing some grass. It's too bad you got to wear a mask just to mow grass. It's so dry out there.
Yeah.
All righty. We'll see you.
Too bad you have to mow grass in October anyway.
Oh yeah, it's a little past the regular season, but it's what we got. It's 79 degrees out there right now. It's just about right.
See you later.
All right.